What is up, everybody? It is I, Ronin. Today I'm coming at you with a bad deck idea in the form of the Nekomusume lock. If you don't know what this is a ghostrick deck, and if you, it's like it's worse side frames. That's what ghostrick are. Worse side frames, but they have cool art, and some of them have some really weird gimmicky type combos and stuff. And we decided to build a deck around Nekomusume, which was originally supposed to be a deck built around Nobleman of Crossout. But you know what? We managed to get the best of both worlds. I got to play Ghost Tricks again. I love Ghost Tricks, by the way. And I got to play Knock, which is like awesome. But yeah, let's go right into the deck profile. So first, starting our monster lineup, it is all Ghost Tricks. We have free Ghost Trick Zhangxi, free Ghost Trick Nekomusume, free Ghost Trick Doll, free Ghost Trick Lantern, as well as free Ghost Trick Mary. So all of our monsters are based, well, except for like Lantern, I guess, are all based around getting to Nekomusume because they all do some form of searching. Zhangxi lets you add a ghost trick from your hand when it's flipped face up equal to the number of face up ghost tricks on the field, so ideally two. Doll, during the end phase, so long as it's flipped up during the turn, it turns everything on the field into face down defense position. Then you can special summon a ghost trick from your deck whose level is equal to or less than the number of monsters flipped. So again, we only really need two, and it does count itself in this effect. Keep that in mind. And then we have Ghost Trick Mary that says when you take damage, you can discard it to special summon a Ghost Trick from your deck. So that can get you to a Doll, a Jiangshi, or a Nekomusume if you already have some board set up. Our only real stalling monster is Ghost Trick Lantern. What it says is that when a attack is declared on you directly or against a ghost trick you control, you can special summon it face down, negate the attack. So, generally speaking, pretty good. It's a nice little stall option, and it does let us protect our Nekomusume if we need it. So it's pretty good if you want to stall for that stuff. But yeah, that's the monsters. Everything, like I said, is basically about stalling and getting to Nekomusume as fast as you can. But we continue that with our spell trap lineup. So we have, in our spells, we have free Pot of Extravagance, free Nobleman of Crossout, free Pot of Duality, one Book of Moon, free Called by the Grave, as well as free Book of Eclipse. So we'll go over the draw power first. Pot of Extravagance. We do actually somewhat need our extra trick, but as long as we have a low level ghost trick to go into one Angel of Mischief, we are generally speaking fine. So you just run everything at free to be safe, and hope you just don't get the absolute worst luck and get rid of all of your Angels of Mischief. So yeah, that's unfortunate. Pod Duality, you don't really swarm with this deck. You just don't. Pot of Duality is another way to get to cards you need in hand. So really, it's just a very good card to have to keep resources up. You could also run stuff like Ghost Trick, Spectre, stuff like that, but I do kind of like having the Pot of Duality. Now we have our one Book of Moon. It's a quick play spell. Lets you target a face-up monster on the field, change the face-down defense position. Book of Eclipse changes all face-up monsters on the field to face-down defense position as a quick effect. And during the end phase, all monsters that were turned face down by this effect are flipped face up, and your opponent gets to draw cards equal to the number of monsters flipped face up by this effect. So, kinda rough. It does give our opponent hand advantage, but as a way to deal with problem monsters, which we get in later Knock. We'll go over that in a second. Call by the Grave, you guys know what it does. Banish a monster from your opponent's graveyard, negate its effects till the end of your next turn. This deck does do a lot of searching because bricks are a problem, so it's good to be able to protect those searches. And now for our last spell, we have Nobleman of Crossout. So this is an older card. Anyone who played in GOAT format might remember it, but what it says is that you can target a face-down monster on the field, destroy it, and then banish that monster. If it was a flip effect, both players reveal their whole deck and banish all other copies of that card. So, Ghostrick's whole thing is they're very good at putting monsters in face-down defense position. So I decided to take advantage of that a little bit, run the knock, because Ghostrick has trouble beating over things. So it's fairly good. It outs problematic monsters, assuming they can be flipped face down. So definitely worth. But yeah, that's all our spell traps. Now let's go into our traps, I guess. We have free Ghostrick Scare, free Summon Limit, and free Ghostrick Knight. So we'll start with Summon Limit, because everyone kind of knows what it does. It locks each player to 2 summons per turn of any kind. We don't do a whole lot of mass summoning with this deck, so it doesn't really affect us, but it is a nice floodgate against more meta-like contenders, because they do all of them combos usually. But yeah, so over that first. Now we'll go over the Ghostrick cards, starting with Ghostrick Scare. So on activation, you can target any number of face-down defense position monsters you control to change the face-up defense position. And for each Ghostrick that was turned face up, you can flip a opponent's monster face down. So, sorry about that, my throat's a little scratchy right now. So yeah, this is a great piece of interruption, assuming you can get enough face down Ghostricks. Should mention about the Ghostricks, they all have the ability, well, the main deck monsters anyways, all have the ability to flip themselves into face down defense position once per turn. Very helpful stuff, and they have to be set. They cannot be normal summon unless you already control a Ghostrick. So, yeah, Ghostrick Scare, it sort of takes advantage of that fact a little bit. So it's pretty nice. Some decks can be hit very hard by it. Just if you can get like Summon Limit, Scare, and a set, like that's very good for you to have. And now for our last card, Ghostrick Knight. So it says this. While a Ghostrick monster is on the field, your opponent cannot flip summon. And when this card in its source position is destroyed by an opponent's card instead of the graveyard, they cannot declare attack for this turn. That doesn't really ever come up, but the first effect is worth noting. So I did not mention Nekomusume because I wanted to go over the lock first and make sure the rest of the deck was understood. So Nekomusume, Level 2 Spellcaster, has the same Ghostrick effect of it can flip itself face down and cannot be normal summon unless you control another Ghostrick. However, it has one additional effect. When a monster of level 4 or below is normal or special, or level 4 or above, is normal or special summon, if you control another face-up Ghostrick, that monster is flipped into face-down defense position. So you might think, okay, so it slows them down a little, they can just turn face-up next turn. Well, that's where Ghostrick Knight comes in. It basically becomes a dead spot, because you cannot link away face-down monsters. Now, if your opponent is using fusion decks, they can do that. But Nekomusume will hopefully be on the field for that, so, yeah. The lock is Nekomusume, Angel of Mischief, Ghostrick Knight. That is kind of what we have to aim for. It's very hard to get to, though. Keep that in mind. I feel like I've made this consistent as it can be, though. So, as the lock, now we'll go over the extra deck. Because we are running all dark monsters, Witch's Apprentice, pretty good. Unicorn, it's solid removal. It gives us a little bit of graveyard setup with which Ghostrick somewhat appreciates. Not a huge amount, but they can do things with it, so it's good removal. Now for our Ghostrick Disease monsters, we are running free Dullahan, free So Cute Boss, and free Angel of Mischief, because like I said, we are running Pot of Extravagance at free. We want to reduce our chances of banishing these playmakers as much as possible. So Dullahan, generally speaking, is the better thing to go into. It requires 2 level 1s, gains 200 attack for each Ghostrick card you control, and as a quick effect, you can attach a disease material from it. Sorry, my throat's real scratchy right now, I don't know why. To have the attack points of something on your opponent's field. Gives Ghostrick the much needed ability to beat things over. And here's the very fun part. When it's sent to the graveyard by any means, you can recover a Ghostrick from your graveyard back to your hand. So that lets you get back a Mary or a Lantern or whatever else you want. So it's really great. And generally speaking, after that, you'll rank up into your Angel of Mischief, who is a rank 4, can be ranked up into from any ghostrick Xyz monster, and it has two effects. Once per turn, you can target a ghostrick card in your hand, attach it as a Xyz material, and you can attach one Xyz material from it to add a ghostrick spell trap from your deck to your hand. So as you can see, that will search your night for you. But yeah, it's very good. 2,000 attack, so it will be beating over most anything after a Dullahan. And it lets you keep up with the searches. It's honestly just such a solid card, and there aren't many level 3 or lower cards that would be able to beat over it. So it's great for the lock. It lets you continuously gain resources. It allows some weirdness if you can get it up to 10 overlay units. But yeah, very good card. And now we just got So Cute Boss. It requires 2 level 2s, and while you control another ghostrick, it cannot be the target for attacks. And once per turn, you can attach a Xyz material, destroy a monster on the field, and that zone is shut down so long as this remains face up on the field. And assuming that you have enough ghostricks to overcome the card that you destroyed, attack points. I don't know, it's a weird effect. It's another thing that we can rank up from. We have multiple level 2s, so it just works out pretty well. But generally speaking, we do not use its effect because we did not build this deck to spam. There is ghostrick spam. We did not build this deck to spam. But yeah, so those are the main pieces. And as far as sideboard goes, pretty standard stuff. Storming Mirror Force, we can run that. We have a lot of battle protection and do benefit somewhat from taking damage and being attacked, but sometimes you just gotta slow it down. So, Storming Mirror Force with no follow-up play and Ghostrick, always hot. Ghostrick Vanish, it's a normal trap that says you can reveal a Ghostrick monster in your hand, and this turn, Ghostrick cards you control and face down defense position monsters you control cannot be targeted or destroyed by card effects. So, very good. It helps you to maintain a board, but unless you're playing against something very board wipey, it doesn't really come up. So it is definitely worth having, though. Then we have Spell Trap removal with Twin Twisters, a Kaiju. It's the turtle. It can be flipped face down. It's pretty neat. And the last thing we have is, you see, the Nekomusume lock has a flaw. If your opponent is able to summon level 3 or lower monsters, they will not be flipped. So if our opponent does that a lot, we have ourselves a trap hole waiting for them. The majority of level 3 or below monsters that people run anyways, for the most part, will generally have 1,000, maybe a little more attack points. So it's definitely a good thing to have because it works on stronger monsters, works on weaker monsters, and it just protects our little cat girl. But yeah, so that's the deck profile. If you're new here, we do some replay. Well, today we only have 2 replays, actually. So, yeah, if you're new, we're just going to go over some replays, show the deck working, not working, stuff like that, my own thoughts and feelings on it, stuff that I love, didn't love, and yeah, stuff like that. But all that being said, I'll see y'all in the first replay. Okay, welcome to the first replay. We were knock, because knock. And we are playing its Shock 887, who's using a hero variant. One of our better matchups, actually, because the hero deck usually is pretty much just a beatdown deck, and this deck is very hard to deal with in the battle phase. So, fairly good matchup for us, and we'll be right into it. So, we went first, and we set a Mary, so that was fine. We already had another Mary. The Ghostricks couldn't be normal summoned anyways. So it is best to sort of stave off attacks when you can, because by setting Mary, we get a little graveyard setup. We'll take some damage. We have a couple lantern in hand, though, so we generally pretty fine battle-wise. So our hero friend is about to pop the freak off here. I've actually been meaning to try some of the new evil hero stuff. So he's doing a big conglomeration of all of the hero archetypes, which is pretty cool, actually. I do like this. And so yeah, the cross guy comes down. He's going to be using to get the Dark Calling, Fusion the Adoration, Search a Hero. Yeah, so he is going off here. And yes, here he was going to try to OTK, because Dread Decimator does give piercing damage. Does have piercing damage. So The plan seems to have been use Dread Decimator, beat over this for the piercing, then just bop bop for game. So it would have actually worked if it weren't for ghostrick. So we did take damage there, so Mary's effect activates Spin Hand to let us summon our doll from deck. He's going to attack the doll, doll's effect props, and we go ahead and stop the Dark Bane with the Lantern. So now we are about to enter the end phase of his turn, and because Ghostrick Doll's effect activates when it is flipped face up, you have to negate it when it first activates, not during the end phase. We'll be flipping 2 monsters face down, and getting to summon a level 2, which is going to be Nekomusume. Okay, so here we are in a very good position. We have Nekomusume, and next turn we will be able to make a Ghostrick Exeese. So reveal it, yeah. So going into our turn, we will go ahead and set that, flip these 2 so we can now normal summon the Ghostricks in our hand. We will summon a Lantern, overlay into Dullahan. Dullahan's effect will slice that Dread Decimator right in half. But we're still not big enough, so we rank up, and then we use Angel of Mischief's ability to search the Ghostrick Knight in a second here. So we got the Knight, Dullahan hit the graveyard, so we will be able to recover one of the lanterns we used. Now we just attack over the Dread Decimator. Dying Attack happens to stop battle damage. Don't know why he did that, but okay. So we go ahead and set the Knight, and we're going to Knight in standby as well as Summon Limit. So this does hold him up a good bit. So see, he normal summoned a level 4 or higher monster. Musume's effect will flip that face down. He will still get to summon the increase from his hand though, and it is going to be fine. So he gets flipped, and that's all he can do. From here, we're going to be knocking the Malicious Bane. So that's pretty fun. Went ahead, switched Nekomusume to defense mode, so we don't take damage from that, just in case. And then we had our Angel of Mischief ready to go when we needed it to. So that's basically the lock going off very well. Only time it actually went off like pretty much without a hitch. So yeah, that's sort of how it works. That's the ideal game state. And next replay will be the regular game state. And I'll see you guys there. Okay, welcome to the second replay. We're playing against GeoGeo. And not a terrible opening hand. We did manage to go first again, which is always nice. And this isn't a awful opening hand, so we go ahead and do the draws, set Zhangxi because it will let us get a search when slip this up, the scare as a interruption. We all have a Mary in hand, so even if he does get through, we're still probably fine. But yeah, so we continue here. We're playing against a Pendulum Deskbot thing. Pendulum Magician Odd Eyes Deskbot. That's what he's doing. So here is kind of the problem. You see, a lot of these monster summons happened simultaneously. So I can flip one face down to stop a space, pretty much. I do hit the Dissolver so he can't fusion summon immediately, but that's kind of the problem. When a deck is just this fast, this deck can't really do anything. The only way it stands a chance most of the time is assuming it was able to go first against a deck that is kind of on the slower side. Zhangxi did not give it a search because it's a win effect. This is a win effect, it misses timing, so keep that in mind. So yeah, he's just making pendulum plays at this point. He's going to go ahead and summon a bunch of monsters. We don't die this turn, necessarily, so yeah, that's another weird thing I forgot about. I guess he didn't realize that, like, same attack and defense don't crash. But yeah, basically that is what let us survive this turn. So yeah, we're taking damage. Mary will give us the doll for the future. Doll will flip itself up, and we take a little bit of damage. He clears out his board a little, which is actually very smart. Gives me less room to work with for a special summon. So we flip that, summon a lantern real fast, and we keep going. So from here we knock the flare metal, flip that up so we can normal summon. And here I do summon Doll, because it might be able to flip itself. So yeah, we bounces back that. The Aether banishes us. Yeah, you see, I wasn't expecting the Aether. Honestly, I was not. My plan was to summon a ghostrick, attack into this heliosphere. The heliosphere would bounce something. He would summon like Goliath or something, or Sloth maybe, and then I would be able to use the other monster to attack over that, and then flip into face down defense position, so the scare would still be up. That did not work. That did not work, and he is going to make despot plays here. So popping our scare, we can't really do anything with it. So he's going into battle. We go ahead and lantern that Gatling Ghoul. We take a little bit of damage here. Yeah, so we were... I'm not really sure why... I guess he probably didn't expect it, to be fair. So that's... Yeah, that's fair. Alright, so now here, I guess he just wanted arrows for a pendulum summon and to make a couple negates, which is fair. It's fair, but it's not super necessary against this deck. So again, this deck on the back foot doesn't really do much. So he's going to banish our Nekomusume, and then we get hit for game. So that's how most replays went. But yeah, the deck, it's ghostrick. There are several ways you can build this deck. I think this way was kind of fun. There's also the mill. There's also face down, beat down, which is a thing. But yeah, there's lots of ghostrick builds, and I don't know. I think I did this one as well as it can get. If anyone has any ideas for ways to stay more consistent, let me know, because I would super appreciate making this deck work better. But yeah, that was some Nekomusume stun for you there. And yeah, let me know what you guys thought of the deck. Are there better ghostrick variants? Do you want me to do more ghostrick variants? Because I will tell you, I am always super down to do ghostrick variants. Like, oh, it's just such a fun deck. I love it. But yeah. Like if you liked, comment if you have something to say, and subscribe if you want some more. This has been Ronin, signing off.